Hey, beautiful people. Andrew the Realtor here with my first of the year 2023 housing market update for Willowdale and Newtonbrook East. As always, thank you in advance for watching this. I love doing these specifically because I think I'm one of the few that actually do this for this area to keep people kind of abreast of what's going on. So I'm a little bit further in the month than I wanted to be for this video specifically, but there's a very interesting reason for that. You may want to stay tuned. I'm going to mention that more towards the end of the video. But if you're one of those folks that get off very quickly, please hold on for like one more minute because I have two things for Toronto owners that are very time sensitive and it's very important for you that you may or may not know about. So give me a second here. I'm going to minimize myself and get right to the action here. So real quick, you guys know I provide valuable information for the area. That's kind of what I do. I don't want this, none of this gets monetized or anything of that nature. Just a matter of you being kind of knowledgeable about what's happening in the market. So please hit subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and please hit the like button. Again, it's strictly real estate information. I would never contact you for anything else. So hit like and subscribe, please. And by the way, as I always mentioned, I have a program that will let you know every time a neighbor is selling their home. In fact, you get sold prices as well. The link to that is in the description at the bottom of the email, or excuse me, at the below the video title is going to be description. That's going to be in there. Click on that. It's free. It automatically comes out to you. I don't have to usually get involved so much, but it's really good information. I tried it myself and it worked. So without further ado, let's get into the first two important things and then the stats on the market right now. First things first. This is important, guys. This is kind of my public service announcement. All Toronto residential property owners must submit a declaration of property's occupancy status. What that means is you have till February 2nd to go to the City of Toronto. There's a website. It's going to be in my description to my video as well. Click on that. It goes to the Toronto website, Toronto City website, and it will show you what you need to do. Basically, what you're saying is what was happening with your home. Was it owner occupied? Was it resident occupied? Or tenant occupied? One of those kinds of things. Now, admittedly, I don't know how comfortable I am with that going on, but nonetheless, be that feelings aside, that is what's going on right now. So you make sure you do that, and you have to do it before February 2nd, which is just a couple of weeks away. The next thing that's also important, many of you, obviously, because I've seen many of you in person as well, and obviously I know who owns homes. Like yourself, I was not born in this country, so obviously I'm a proud Canadian citizen now, but that's only been for the past few years, not all of my life. And the reason I mention that is there's an act that is just got put into place. I guess it was talked about towards the end of last year, but as of January 1st, it's a purchase of residential property by Non-Canadians Act, prohibition of it. It's basically a ban for 2 years for non-Canadian citizens to purchase real estate. Now, notice I said ban because it's rather convoluted. There are a lot of stipends. There's a lot of points to this thing. And in fact, tomorrow I'll be speaking to a lawyer. I'll be listening actually to a lawyer speak on this subject. And so I will certainly know more about it. In December 21st on Wednesday, they revealed some specific prohibitions or regulations about it. So again, why I put ban is there are a lot of exemptions, a lot of different aspects of it. So I will definitely look into that. If you are somebody or know somebody who may be buying something and that they don't have, they're not Canadian citizens or possibly residents here. So again, have a look at that. That's important. That's already in place for 2 years by the government. And so this and the previous home occupation, very important. Please get on that. So that aside, if you're not a stats person, or maybe you're just not interested in the market right now, this might be the end of that. I wish you a fantastic rest of the day. However, for those of you who are sticking to it, here we go. So this is what was happening in December of last year, so just last month. So the important stuff is, of course, the home sales were down. Everybody knows that. It was a slower month in general. And, of course, there was the interest rate hike and the possibility of another interest hike. There were the holidays, bad weather, just a general kind of end to a slower year than the crazy year of 2021. So note, of course, 42 sold properties versus 114 in the Willowdale, Newtonbrook East. So that said, still, it's not something was sold. The more important aspect of it is the average price, and I'll tell you why. You just got to take this with a bit of a grain of salt. Average price went down 10.6%. So okay, that's significant, no doubt about it. Obviously we're used to going up, not going down. But keep in mind, this is a selection of only 42 homes. So you have a list of 42 homes that sold an average of 1.1 versus in December of 2020 114 homes. So this was more indicative of the sales of 2021 versus just being indicative of the sales of December 2022. But nonetheless, obviously they're down, and that kind of is the same thing across the board. And certainly the numbers are very similar to what they were the month before. If you watch the market update, you'll notice these numbers. Active listings up, new listings down, average days on market, average listing days on market, average property days on market up significantly. Of course, that's the kind of market it is. Detached taking the biggest hit, and that has been the case in a lot of places. Again, it's an average. depends on what's sold. Only 10 homes sold. So again, you don't have a large number of homes, selection of homes to look at in terms of what specifically was being sold. So take that with a bit of a grain of salt. However, condos consistently, month after month, year after year at this point, have been up. So in general, up 8% versus December of 2021. So that's kind of encouraging. And of course, no semis sold. Only one townhouse of almost exact same price sold, and 3 condo townhomes sold for an average of $600,000. Now, if you're in a condo townhome, then you know these 3 were probably the ones, the smaller, probably stacked townhomes over by the Young and Shepherd area. So anyway, that's kind of what the market was. Still strong, and let me show you some good stuff to actually get you a little more encouraged versus maybe the negative stuff here. And this is something that shows average prices in general, 905 versus 416. And notice the difference. Here's what I mean. I want to encourage you a little bit, because some of these stats might sound a little bit negative, certainly on the news and media otherwise. But 416 in general, doing much better. Look at detached, semis, everything across the board better than 905. Easy explanation for that, or one of the easy explanations for that, is not only is the Toronto market always strong, the market is always in high demand, and a little bit higher in the price range. The stuff on the outside, in the outskirts, in Peel, York, and Durham, they're cheaper. Properties were cheaper compared to Toronto, and when something is cheaper, there's a larger buyer pool, and there's a larger buyer pool, there are more buyers. There are more buyers for only a small selection of inventory. Those prices are naturally going to go up, which is what happened in 20 and 21. And when prices went down, the heavily inflated, lower price stuff went down the most, which is why you see 905 drops that are bigger than the drops in 416. Generally speaking, Toronto, this is just average house prices. Again, average, not North York, not just Willowdale, Newtonbrook, but all of Toronto, on average, down 0.49%, so almost nothing. So compared to, say, Pickering, a little bit higher, but look at Ajax, Oshawa, no surprise there. Stouffville, and those kinds of things. Again, in the outskirts, where it was really inflated, they're the ones that really went down. Toronto market, resilient and strong, so you should be encouraged, my friends in Willowdale and Newtonbrook. Now, I want to show this in terms of people. I still get people thinking, oh, it's going to drop more. Market's drop another 20-30%, things of that nature. I honestly think, respectfully, it's wishful thinking, but still. We are here. This is the beginning of 23, end of 22, and I made a black line across, all the way across here. Oh, this is the start of the lockdowns. This is April of 2020. So what, 2 weeks after the 2 weeks of stop, the spread happened. So we have this space here in terms of difference in price. And of course, prices, as you saw from the previous slides, prices are down significantly, detached, et cetera, et cetera. So my point being, people honestly thought the price was too high here, so that's a given. Whatever the price is, there are people who will say it's too much. If it's $1, they say it should be 50 cents. You know, that's the mentality. What can you do? However, this is where we were. So look at the increase. The ups and downs, with all the stuff that happened in 2022 with the interest rates, we're still here versus we were here at the bottom. And again, it went up, but still we're way higher than 2020. 2021, high year, very close in certain months last year. And of course, beginning of 22 was where it was all crazy and very, very high in price on average. But the point being, maintaining strength. Are we going to drop down to here? Honestly, how? If it hasn't happened yet, and we're up 4% in 1 year in interest rates, and the prices are down, but it's still not here. How much more down? How much more bottom do we have? Not a whole lot. I think we're pretty much there. Quick summary for you guys, because I respect your time. Trying to make these a little bit faster. So overall sales in 23, my personal prediction is going to be very similar to 22, which was similar to 2018. A normal year, not too crazy, not overly slow, just a normal year, which is good. People are buying and selling and that kind of thing. More on that in a bit. Opportunity is still there. I've mentioned this for the past few months. It still exists, especially when you look at the condo prices. So move of buyers from something smaller to something bigger. You're winning right now. I know the interest rates are high. I get all that. But in the same market, buying and selling in the same market. Upsize buyers, same situation, but sometimes it applies to semis or to towns depending on the price of your house. Again, if you're moving from something that has increased more, especially recently, or decreased less, especially recently, and moving into something that has decreased more recently, like a detached home, you're winning. You're winning. And there is a bubble. I'll mention this little point. They always talk about the bubble bursting and that kind of thing. I'll say kind of tongue-in-cheek, there is a bubble in the market, but the bubble is predominantly on the buyer side. I think it's going to burst. And if it does, it's going to be very interesting because there'll be a lot of demand. There's strong demand usually anyway. With inventory constantly increasing, buyers who are sitting on the sidelines, maybe some of you are like that. Maybe some of you have not made a move simply because you don't know what's happening in the market. It's still too wobbly for you. And I can understand that. That's actually quite normal. I can certainly understand that. I can empathize. However, things have been fairly normal, and inventory is increasing. What usually happens is, and I've seen this in 2016-17 certainly, and certainly we saw it in 22 after April, when everybody was told, oh, don't buy, the market's going to crash, it's going to be horrible and everything else, and we had record month after month to the dismay of CNHC and groups like that. What often happens is one buyer gets a great idea, and then every buyer gets a great idea, all at the same time. That's how it usually happens. People need one or two other people to kind of get into the water first, and then everybody gets in the pool. And that's what's going to happen on the buy side. Is it going to be crazy like 21? No, I don't think so. I don't think the interest rates are there. I don't think the public psychology is there for that. However, just generally speaking, there is a pent-up kind of demand. And I'll tell you one of the reasons that I'm leaning towards that is that one of the reasons this video is late into the month versus my usually I try to get in the first week or so is that I've been incredibly busy. And I mention that specifically because I've been getting so many inquiries, some from folks like you, and especially Willowdale, specifically recently. I think a couple of folks were interested in home value and that kind of thing. Lots of people looking to buy, lots of people looking to sell, not even just New York, even outside of that. So there's a lot of activity. There's a lot of interest. A lot of people asking, listen, I want to do this. Like, can we do this? Can I do this? And well, I give them the stats, and the answer is usually yes. So there's a lot of interest. A lot of activity will be happening. It's going to be a decent year. There's going to be buying and selling, nothing crazy. So if you've been thinking of possibly entering the market, either selling or buying or investing in something of that nature, don't hesitate for too long, because there are a lot of people are hesitating right now. And again, once one person stops hesitating, a lot of people are going to stop hesitating. And then a lot of buyers out there and a lot of competition for you if you're a buyer. So with that in mind, I wish you guys a great rest of January. I will be back in February with another market update sooner in the month. I'll try my best. And of course, if you guys have any questions, please contact me. You have my contact information. I have my Ask Me Anything link in the very top of the video description. And as always, guys, please hit like and subscribe. Just so you get this information. I always appreciate it because, well, it helps me, at least some of the people watching and that kind of thing. I've had a few hundred views of the last one, and that seems to be the case for the past few videos, which is always great. So, guys, without further ado, wish you a fantastic rest of January. All the best. See you in February, and you know where to find me. Contact me if you have questions, even if it's just, Andrew, should I even consider doing something? Chances are I'll say yes. Take care.